What is up, guys? It's Vance, back here again with another Supercoach video. Now, for those that aren't following me on X, you know that I am a bit late this week because I have been a bit sick, and honestly, I just plan on making this super quick. So as we can see, not a great score from us. Yeah, it is what it is. I guess for those that are interested, you can follow me at X, on X, Vance_SC_hub. And I do my usual trades there. Now, it has been a bit hard to get those out, especially with so many Thursday night games and full teams for Sunday not being released until Friday night. You do need to just be able to adapt on the fly a bit because obviously we talked about, that's whatever, you guys can see my trades, it doesn't really matter. We talked about trading out Lazaro for Ramsden, but after hearing a bit more information about Ramsden maybe not having the job security that we hoped he did, I decided that Comben was maybe a bit better just for on-field reliable scoring and a bit more job security. So I went that way, but I couldn't do that with Lazaro. So I did end up moving McKercher on. With that though, Lazaro did end up getting a bit of game time. I did end up playing. He was the sub, but he came on in the second because McKercher got subbed off. Ended up being a really good trade because McKercher got 6, lost money, and then Lazaro made money. Got a 51. It didn't count, but he made money, so that was pretty sick. His break even this week, I think, is 20. So like, if he can just like play again and a little bit more money, that'd be really sick. But yeah, I think a few unfortunate things for us were that we did captain McGovern. We did VC English. It didn't work out with these 58. And then honestly, I was getting a little bit of cold feet with McGovern, and the other options I was looking at was Luke Ryan and Jack Steele, and that would have netted us a lot of points. Saying that though, I do think McGovern was a little bit stiff. I'm just gonna quickly bring this up. I was meant to do this before I started recording and then realized I didn't. What is that? But I did just want to check out the kick-ins for McGovern because I'm pretty sure he didn't actually get many. I think he might have had maybe 2. Richmond had 10 behind, so it was a little bit stiff in that case. Where is the kick-ins again? Sorry, bear with me a moment here. Here we go, kick-ins. And West Coast. And he ended up with 3, which is okay. We did have Rotham pinch 1 and Cole pinch 1, which is unfortunate, but we did have Duggan take a lot of them. He did take 5 out of the 10. And unlike previous weeks, he didn't kick it to McGovern. And you might think that doesn't like sound that concerning, but in reality it's like McGovern previously has had monopoly on the kick-ins. You know, week 1 he had 7, week 2 he had 5. I mean, 5 out of 12, it was still the most kick-ins. We kind of shared with Duggan, but then the next game he had 5 again, Duggan had 3, then he had 7, Duggan had 6. So he's sort of had the monopoly on those kick-ins, but he only ended up with 3 this week and Duggan with 5. Now, there was a lot less kick-ins, so I don't know if it was just unfortunate timing with that, but it definitely ruined his floor, I think, him not getting as many as he has previously. But I also expected West Coast to win this game, and I thought with them winning, I thought Tigers would put up a bit more of a fight, but they unfortunately didn't. Kind of just got ruffle stomped, and Yo just ran over them, and the ball never really came to the defense line in West Coast half, so, you know, can't blame McGovern too much for that. But yeah, I don't know. My memory is that West Coast kicked chaos balls inside, and intercept defenders love those, but it wasn't the case. I think just maybe I need to be a little less crazy with what I'm doing here. Just honestly, with my captain choices, last week I tried the anti-pod Heaney, and we lost a lot of points doing that. And then this week I went a pretty radical with McGovern. I'm kind of just looking for this pod captaincy to make a difference, and all I've done is lose points. I mean, last week giving up Heaney, we know gave away I think it was 45 points, and then this week, as I said, the other ones I was considering, Luke Ryan and Steele, 70 points there that I just lose as well. And it's like, hey, back-to-back weeks, that's 115 points, and honestly 100 points is the difference between another 10k up the rank. So it's a little unfortunate I've been doing that. I say unfortunate, it's just being a bit silly of me, being a bit too crazy with those. So I'm going to try and maybe tone it back a bit. I also think some of my trade-ins, maybe I'm not really living by the same philosophy I lived by last year, which was I'm not bringing players in unless I think they're genuine top six. I'm not going to waste money bringing in someone who's on the cusp. I'm not going to waste money bringing in someone that's, you know, underpriced. I did talk about Stephen May maybe being a good trade-in, but he's not going to be a keeper. Bringing him in to trade him out later when he's made money, that's not how I was playing last year. Last year, I think a lot of people actually fell for that Stephen May play where they brought him in cheap and they didn't quite make the money they wanted, and they kind of ended up with a dead Stephen May. Might have been the year before that, but it wasn't the play. And yeah, last year I just paid up for the big dogs, got the big dogs on field, and then ran home with them, and that's why I had a great second half of the year. And just something I'm not really doing right now, so I'm going to try and focus back on that. Like, focus the big dogs, save the money, get the right players. Now you will see in my trades this week. I'm just going to show them to you so we can see that Graham and Marshall in for Grundy and Cadman. I did think that Clark was basically a must trade because he's kind of dead and he's just going to lose the money he made us. But at the same time, listening to the Dr. Supercoach podcast, JB sort of talking about it, like, is 60k really worth the trade? Like, it sucks ass that we started Clark over like basically any of the other guys, but I don't know, like, I have a lot of dead players on the bench, so it's a bit hard. We have Pink, Caulfield, potentially Lazaro, Sexton, and now Clark. Like, that's 5 dead players. I think if I have only 1 per line, you can kind of get over it because you can at least loophole using the dead players, so it's not the worst thing. So I could have moved Clark to maybe Graham, but banking 60k just doesn't really do anything for me, and if he's going to be my 1 dead player on the midfield, maybe I can leave him there. Maybe I can get away with that. I'm not too sure. I mean, he's probably not going to be playing when Danger's back, so I assume he's dead. Maybe he plays. I don't know. But I mean, hypothetically, if I move Clark, I basically have the same money I have, but that's the only trade I could really do because that money's not doing anything for me. Where if I did end up moving Cadman this week, he's not really going to make much more money. He's basically met his max. Maybe he'll make another 10k, but it's not really that relevant. If I did move him for Graham with a bit of DPP, bring Lazaro forward, then it does mean that I had about 180k. Yes, it can't make me upgrade to a premium from a rookie, but it does mean that I can get Grundy to Marshall, and I think as much as it sucks that I'm going to have to just forgo giving up Max Gawn here, I do think Marshall's looking really good, and I do think his run's really good coming up as well, so missing him here, this could be like the cheapest he's going to be for the rest of the season, where Grundy has wits. I wouldn't be surprised if Marshall puts 50 points on Grundy this week alone. So I think he's going to be much better play in the long term, but we do have, English has given up the most points this week, so a very big one, I think. Solo, who hasn't actually been the worst, but I believe in Marshall. Cherry hasn't been the worst hit out ruckman, and I mean, Hawks are usually decently restrictive, so I guess maybe not as good of a run as I thought it was. Darcy will be back, then Gawn. Then he gets pretty good after that to a degree, kind of. I mean, he has his Marvel run after that. And I think this is still an upgrade. I think at the end of the day, Grundy, yeah, we can call him a premium, but he's averaging 95. He's really just a mid-pricer. Like, he's no better than Holmes, really. Like, Holmes is averaging 95. He's just got 40k on him. That's the difference. So it's one of those things where I'm not going to hold him to the end of the season. Right now, I can't get to Gawn, and I don't see a world where I'm going to be able to get to Gawn over 700k. That's going to be a lot of money invested, and if I wait more weeks, Grundy's going to maybe drop 20, 30k. Marshall's probably going to gain 50k. I don't know, at least that's how I see it playing out. I see that this is the closest they're going to be, about 100k apart for a while, and if I don't get them now, I'm just going to hold Grundy for ages and bleed a lot of points. So, going to make that move this week to get Marshall in over Grundy and hope that that works out. But yeah, I guess that's my really quick, trade plans and review, guys. So unfortunate for Libber and Crouch, but yeah, we're just going to have to bench them to the side. I'm going to run Sanders with the emergency here. He does well, we'll just slip Crouch on, or yeah, Crouch on for Clark. Easy, done, whatever. I've decided the VC Marshall. English has been giving up massive points to the opponent rucks. I do know that Lob has also come in, so they now have Lob, Darcy, and Marshall, but I don't think any of them are super restrictive, so sort of hoping that Marshall can come up with a big one here. I was kind of looking at Steele as well, especially no Libber out. I mean, Steele seems really good as well, so definitely an option between the two. yeah, I've just decided to sort of back in Marshall. The reason I've brought him in is because I think he's going to go massive this week. So if I think he's going to go massive, then I might as well VC him while I'm at it, you know? Backup option. There's not any that scream great, but I don't know, I'm scared of making Luke Ryan backup captain because I don't want what happened to McGovern this week where the ball just lives in Frio's front half, and as much as Luke Ryan's good, he can't score because he's just not involved. So I'm a little bit scared of that. Yeah, I've got a lot of players playing in this first game. I mean, Bont, Steele, Marshall, English, like, they're a lot of my big boys. Butters could maybe towel us up. We've been pretty garbage this season so far, so he could be another fullback option. Yeah, it's going to be a hard one. I think I'm going to take English a bit out of my VC loop, especially with Lob and Darcy in the team. It just seems like there's going to be too much ruck time eaten up from the others, so that's why I've taken him out this week. But yeah, I guess that's my plan going forward. But yeah, thank you for tuning in, everyone. I appreciate it. I appreciate all those that like, subscribe for their consistent injections of Supercoach content directly into their YouTube feed. I will do a post on X before the games, probably after team reveals. You know, if team reveals and there's some crazy shit happening, maybe I'll change these trades. But I'm pretty set on these trades. Pretty set with how this is going. So yeah. Anyway, guys, I'll catch you next week. Peace. Later.